Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy, for nerds, by nerds, hang out this nerd.
Nerdarchist Ted.
And today with Ted we explore Adventure League on the high seas on the Fan2Sea Cruise.
Hey guys, jump down to the description below where you can sign up for Nerdarchy, the newsletter. Get RPG tips as well as learn how to game with Nerdarchy.
We were on the Fan2Sea Cruise, cruising, right? Comic-Con FC. But they also had a game room run by Armada Games. Super cool guys. Great store. If you happen to be in the Tampa Bay area or going through there, please stop in, check them out. They're awesome. Check the Nerdarchy thank you page on our website and you get more details on them. But they were running Adventure League games, and Nerdarchy has never actually played in any organized play with Dungeons and Dragons.
Until now!
I think Nerdarchist Ryan has done some organized play with Pathfinder. But now, now we have the other side of the coin. Ted had his first Adventure League game. How was it?
It was cool. There was some definite things that I was a little shocked about, both good and bad. But ultimately, I had a good time. The DM, Michael Dunlap, he did a great job, and he managed a table of 7 players with ease.
What did you play? What level character? What was your character?
So they were running a number of games throughout the entire cruise, and the sessions that I saw, there were either, you can play a 1 through 5 level character, or you can play a 5 through 10th level character. The session that I got in on, which was called Uninvited Guests, and it's got a whole DDAL05-03. That's the module portion that I was involved with. It's a level 1 through 5 module. And since I had never done Adventure League and I didn't have any other characters, I had to start at level 1. So I wound up playing a lizard folk barbarian who was an Outlander background. And I just loved since reading Volo's Guide, I really wanted to play a lizard folk.
How could you not?
It's true. And part of me was like, do I go Ranger? Do I go Rogue? And it was a very diverse party. And there wasn't a whole lot of meat going, and some of the DMs that were there were talking about
meat, like chicken or pork.
Fighters. We had
classes.
Yes. Yeah, we had a couple spellcasters. There was a warlock, a wizard, a cleric. There was a rogue. There was a ranger, but there was no one going into the thick of it, but the paladin. And I didn't want to have him, be the only one. So I decided, all right, barbarian it was.
Well, if you're going to have someone go in the thick of it, a paladin is pretty good.
Pretty good to go with, that's true.
First experience, that's your character. Had to start at first level.
Mm-hmm.
Would you do it again?
Absolutely. It was a fun time. There were a couple nuances that I think a good DM would have probably touched on, but to have a organized play, you're not going to be getting into, you have a backstory thing going on, or you have this other thing going on. You go with the story. They don't actually take into account what characters are sitting at the table.
Well, you can't, because you never know who's coming from session to session.
That's correct.
And it's almost like it's just basically essentially running a series of one-shot adventures.
I agree. But to me, as a seasoned homebrew type player, that's one of those things that's like, all right, this is the thing that I would miss if this was the only thing that I did.
Right. But unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, some people don't have home groups, and the only gaming they get is through Adventure League. So thankfully, there is organized play that they can show up pretty much to any game store that's running these, and they kind of know what to expect. So it's like going to McDonald's. It doesn't matter where you go to McDonald's, you're gonna get to sit in the same seats that hurt your butt, and you're gonna order the same food. You can order whether you're on East Coast, West Coast, or even in another country.
That's true.
Yeah.
But like I said, the game flow was smooth. There was a bit of an issue with tactics, or maybe not tactics is the right word. Play style, I guess I would say, because there's some things that as organized play, this is how it goes, and if you're not into that style, or you're not picking up on subtle clues, you can have some issues. And I know personally, if I would have done my normal play style, there would have been a total party wipe. Everybody would have died.
Way to go, Nerdarchist Ted. Show up for your first Adventure League game and get the party killed.
Well, it wouldn't have been entirely 100% my fault.
You had help.
I had help. So the the situation was, and I'll go through the quick version. So spoilers if you're looking to do Adventure League and you haven't run uninvited guests, you might want to just wait on checking out the rest of this video. So you start in a tavern, big shocker, and you're given this hook. Bartender wants to run a feast for the town, but food is scarce. People are scared of the woods. So blah, 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 we get to the woods, bad stuff happens, and it could have gone very, very poorly because of an NPC that you encounter. And the rogue and I completely sneaked away. So we weren't there to hear the NPC's warning. Had we been there, it would have been a little different, but we're not there for the conversation. So you got to act the way your character would act, right? If we would have done what I would have done, then everybody would have died. But the DM kind of kept things going, kind of got people...
You didn't spoil anything. You suck.
Do you want me to spoil it?
Yeah.
All right.
I want to know what happened.
All right. So when you get...
You just told them to not watch because there's spoilers, and then you didn't spoil anything. They didn't watch for no reason.
All right. So when you get to the forest, you're supposed to be doing a hunt, looking for either a stag or a boar, something to feed the entire town. Well, there's this amazing 12 or 14 point stag that is glorious standing, over the horizon, and the rogue and I sneak off to go get it. After we disappear, the rest of the party gets talked to by this little pixie sprite thing, and he calls himself the Prince of the Forest. Now, in the forest, there's this mist.
Oh shit, fucking Ravenloft first level, are you kidding me?
No, it's not Ravenloft. It's actually some kind of magical effect, and the nasty part is, if you fail your con saves, you're taking levels of exhaustion. So, I was a barbarian, so I'm proficient, I have a decent constitution, I actually think it was my highest score, or one of, and I'm like, alright, I'm passing my saves without a problem. But we attack the stag. Well, the stag takes off after it gets hit, and the pixie winds up commanding a Trent to appear and attack one of the NPCs that's traveling with us. So it's like...
I have your character sheet right here. It is your highest stat.
So at that point in time, the DM really manages to wrangle the situation. The paladin in the party has the quirk of violence is the answer to everything. So he actually goes to attack the pixie. The mage, which is actually being played by Brian Stillman of,
I have the Beholder, the Art of D&D documentary, as well as Plastic Galaxies.
So he actually was a mage. He casts shield and jumps in front of the pixie and actually saves the situation. I don't know whether Brian has got experience with Adventure League to know whether this is a bad idea or not. I totally didn't see a problem with it. And I'm like, all right, let's see how this winds up going. But it divulges quickly, and eventually the rogue and I decide, well, I think this would be a bad idea to continue. So we kind of meta it a little bit and decide to come back to the party. And we are then led to another hunting ground. Now, when this was going on, there was another group being run at the same exact time, running the exact same adventure. So we kind of had a flip-flop of hearing what's going on. Usually just reactions, not actually anything from the DM spoiling anything. But before we got to make our first con save for the mists, the other DM walks over. He was imbibing just a little bit on the cruise. He wasn't supposed to run, but we had so many people sign up for this one session, time session, that they're like, let's just run it, 2 sessions. So he's like, what is the first couple of effects for exhaustion? And I'm like, holy crap, what's going on here?
Yeah, that is a nasty hazard. Do you remember what the DC was?
I want to say like 14.
Oh,
maybe 15.
That's pretty high.
Well, it's supposed to scare you right off the bat.
I'm scared. I'm scared. I need my pants a little bit.
So me, I was no problem. I got in, I got out. So we're led to, by the sprite, we're led to another forest a little bit further away from town, and we're out stalking boar now because that was the other option to bring back for the bartender. And that's when problems happen because you sneak up on the boar. There's one big boar and 3 medium-sized boar, and somebody else is there hunting as well. So I'm not going to spoil everything. So regardless of what happens, as long as you bring some meat back to town, there's a celebration. They have a feast. And just as you're sitting down to eat, that's when the module title's called Uninvited Guests show up. It was a fun time. We got to seriously, beat some things up. I was, as I said, I played a lizard folk barbarian. Lizard folk are known to work with a variety of strange materials, including bone. So I was like, hey, can my great axe be made out of bone and not have to suffer any of these, ill effects like there was in 3rd edition for inferior qualities? And he's like, dude, totally go for it. So I thought that was pretty badass. And in that final combat, I honestly crit on something and split it completely in half. I love that stuff.
So there a couple things we had discussed off camera. Mm-hmm. One was, and it kind of like dovetails nicely into a video we recently did with, players flip-flopping from character class to character class and changing their character classes as well. That's kind of built right into Adventure League. 1 through 4, you can change your character as much as you want.
That's the information that I was told. Since some players don't have the group dynamic to play with on a regular basis, they only get Adventure League play. They say that you can pretty much, you can keep your found gear, found money, found and earned XP and titles, and be able to lock that in. But as you play and level, you can change your character so that you can learn different things and so that you can experience different stuff. But once you get to level 5, you're locked in on whatever that character is. Right.
So the log, your Adventure League log follows the player, not the character, up until 5th level. Well, 4th level technically, and then 5th level and beyond. Then it's locked to the player and the character. Mm-hmm. Interesting. It does, it makes sense to you're new to the game, and you really maybe you're just learning it, and it gives you a chance to kind of take different characters out for a test drive and see where you want to hang your hat.
So here's my adventure log from my first character, and there's a number of different things that it keeps track of. You can see my cruddy handwriting. So it tracks your what module you just played. And on this particular one, it's got three sessions that could be done on the log. But it's all right, what is the starting XP that your character went into the session with? How much did you earn? And then what's your total? It tracks your gold. It tracks your downtime units, which I haven't learned what those are, but I can, as an experienced player, I can kind of understand what you could use those for. You can earn renown in the game, which actually allows you to get essentially fame and get linked to a different faction, which there is a faction section, which I don't know anything about yet, as well as number of magic items that you've earned, and so far it's a whopping 0. And then you've got adventure notes and downtime activity. So my character earned a Giant's Challenge because I actually survived talking to the pixie, and I earned Defenders of Parnast, which essentially I help defend the town, and now anytime I go to that particular town, city, whatever you want to call it, I won't sleep in a barn. I'll always have a room. I never have to pay for food, and I'm kind of considered a hero.
It's kind of funny, the title of the giant. What is it?
Giant's Challenge.
Giant's Challenge, and it's a pixie.
Yeah, it's a pun. It's designed to all right, you got this itty bitty tiny thing, and it's kind of cool. So I don't know all the ins and the outs of that particular title. I guess maybe I'm considered a friend of that guy. I don't know, but Defenders of Parnast. It's always good to have those kind of role play things thrown in there. They're cool little things to be able to reward players that don't have a real value, but to the character, they can kind of puff their chest up a little bit. Yes, you not that you worship me, but you applaud what I've done, and I'm recognized in town, and it's good stuff.
Blah blah blah.
Blah blah blah.
Yeah, awesome. So it sounds like you had fun. I'm disappointed that I missed out on a chance to play. I happened to I happened to pick my dinner slot too close to when the games were running to get in on the games, but perhaps next time.
Indeed.
So you guys, in the description,
In the
in
comments.
the comments below, let us know your experiences with Adventure League. While you're at it, like, share, and subscribe.
You can check us out over on nerdarchy.com.
So until next time,
Stay nerdy.